Hello, everyone, and thanks for coming to Toy Photography tonight. A little under the weather, so excuse my voice and everything. But tonight's live stream is kind of going to be something a little different. It's one of my first live streams on my own, where I'm not entertaining with other guests and other co-hosts. But tonight we're doing something a little different. As someone that photographs toy photography and specializes in Star Wars Funko Pop, I realize that I don't find a lot of other um, like a big genre of Star Wars Funko Pop, like a community just for that as much. I see a lot of great toy photographers everywhere on Instagram, Facebook, Vero, TikTok, all those things. But I just wanted to kind of go over and find what I would consider top five. So what I've done is I've gone and kind of scoured the internet, scoured Instagram, if you will, and have found five fantastic Funko photographers that have specialized in Funko Pops. So what I wanted to do was kind of go over and introduce each one of the photographers and kind of review one of the images I chose as my top five Star Wars Funko Pop photos. But first, let's take a look at our chat here. Looks like we've got Christopher in there from Seriously Star Wars. Hey, Chris, thanks for coming. It's good to see you, my friend. Star Wars Sith is here. This is where the fun begins. It sure is. It sure is. Those glasses are fire. Yeah, these glasses are kind of like your grandmom's glasses, but hey, they're easy to find at any given moment. When I wear my wire frame, sometimes because they're silver, they blend in with everything black and silver in my collection of items. So it's easy to find. A little lesson learned from my father-in-law. You get a pair of cheapies, if they break, you lose them, not a big deal. Easily find them. So that's why I got these. And great intro and graphics. Thank you very much, Christopher. Thank you very much. So let's get started with one of our first photographers I wanted to highlight tonight. And we are going to start with this one here. And let us bring that person in. All right. So the first person I wanted to take a look at in the image was from Funko 2005. And as you can see, they have quite a few different Funko Pops there. That's kind of their specialty. But this image in particular, this I just thought was a really great image. We don't see too many images of the Muddy Mando. One, he was in a mystery box, so probably not many people bought him or were able to get him. And I know I was on the hunt for this pop for quite a bit. But more exciting is that we have this gorgeous image. They've really captured the scene very well. So one thing is I like they kind of did a little bit of lighting. You can see they kind of add a little lighting effect in there and everything, as well as they've given the little fiber blade a little bit of a highlight or lens flare, if you will. But just an excellent image. It has that very warm tone. You've got the grit and the everything going on in this image. I just think it's a fantastic image. It really just kind of blew me away when I saw it. So I just had to, point out how awesome this one was. And let's take a look back in our chat here. Seriously, Star Wars. To quote Duco, I've been looking forward to this. I'm glad. I'm glad. Again, many people don't realize I'm usually the guy behind the camera, not always on the camera. And when I usually am, I'm on with my good buddy here, Christopher from Seriously Star Wars, who actually is up in the attic there in Canada. And we do our weekly popcast, the Star Wars popcast. So we do a podcast that's just emphasis solely on Star Wars Funko Pop. So if you want to know the latest and greatest rumors, things that have dropped, we're doing our top five for different Star Wars episodes from, whatever's going on. Please tune in because it's a lot of fun. My buddy Christopher up in Canada does a really great job. And we just have such a great time doing it together. So I felt, yeah, yes, me too, Chris. Well, I know I've got a few people in here, so kind of nice. Oh, we have Gerardo Medina made it, still driving for work. Well, don't crash, Gerardo. Please take your time. I will try to. extend it and stall so that you can get home and see this. Or you know what, make it even safer for me and for you. Watch this on the replay. All right. Don't get yourself into an accident trying to check me out. I'm not like I'm not super popular. I'm not Mr. Beast. So I'm not giving any thousands of dollars away. So don't get hurt. All right, Captain. All right. So the next photographer, and before I leave Funko 2005, I just want to go over. You just got to see some of the images that they're doing. They're just phenomenal. I mean, I just like this one. This obviously is a little bit of Photoshop, but really great concept. Really, really like this. So again, they're bringing home Star Wars Funko Pop in a way that kind of has that toy photographer. One thing that I always say is that anyone photographing Star Wars Funko Pop is already at a disadvantage because those Funko Pops, they're molded. You can't pose them, you can't change them. So whatever you have as the pose, what you have to work with. So I always love the challenge of what a Funko Pop toy photographer is going to end up doing. But yeah, they have Funko 2005 has just some phenomenal work here. Like Cad Bane. I mean, come on. So, but again, I was just choosing 5 images this week just to kind of go over the top 5. And what we might do is break it up. Maybe I'm going to do like a top 5 Lego photographer because one of my favorite toy photographers is Brick Panda. Love to have him on the show. But awesome photographer. As well as, you know, people that like Sir Dork, who photograph a lot of Black Series and stuff like that with Star Wars. He does also Funko Pop, but not as much. Love to include some of their work in one of these top 5. So we are going to be doing a little mixing up of different top 5s of different toy photography. So let's go to the next person's image, and we're going to go to Funko Pop. Now, Funko Pop had a beautiful image here, and if you haven't seen the last 2 episodes of The Mandalorian, too late. Spoiler warning, because as you can see by this picture, it's spoiling it. So, which is really great. Love this image. I know I always have a hard time trying to figure out what I'm going to photograph when I'm doing my Funko Pop and how am I going to do it. And I've kind of built a little recipe for myself. Mostly, I usually photograph one Funko Pop at a time. And on a few occasions, I've used this kind of angle where you have one pop out of focus, the other pop in focus. And this is a great job of doing that. I mean, I really love he used the whole entire frame. The lighting's crisp and clean. You got some nice lighting, like a spotlight right on Paz Vizsla there with this fiber blade. Now, knowing that I have this Funko Pop, that it doesn't actually have the shield. So a really cool Photoshop little ad there. Excuse me again. A little under weather here. And so I'm going to go down some more comments here if I can find my cursor. There we are. All right. Would this shot be outside, indoors, or in front of a screen combination, or the two? So that previous shot that we looked at, that could have been both. It could have been inside, outside, could have used a monitor. I'm going to say it might have been a little bit of both because it looked like they had some kind of practical. Let's go back to that real quick here. Sorry, Funko Pop. We're going to come right back to you in just a sec. I'm going to go back here. I'll go 2005. So this image, it does look like they might have used some practicals. You can kind of see here they have something going on in this area here that looks really cool, and it adds some depth. So they've got something going on, and then, you know, probably a little bit outside on this one, Christopher. All right, so got to find my mouse again. Funko Pop. There we go, Rado. Oh, Gerardo's Funko Pop. Oh, excellent. So let's go back to Funko Pop's image now that he's on the chat. Very exciting. So this is great. I just love this image. The way you cropped it. I mean, you just nailed the scene. I think that's the one thing that as toy photographers we try to do is we try to look to see if we can recreate that scene and make it happen via an image using, you know, as I always say, being a Jedi Knight of light and focus. You really kind of use those two elements to pull in the story and telling the story in one image. Excellent job. Yes. This is a great image. I really enjoy this one. And some more comments. This image is awesome. Be able to get Paz off the base. Love it. Yeah, that's one thing I always do enjoy, but I get personally nervous about. So a lot of you will see my Funko Pop images. There are a few of the older ones that still pop off the base very easily. I don't take mine off the base because I don't want to lose them and break them and things like that. So I usually keep them on the base. They're like today. I was looking at trying to maybe open up. I've got the Star Wars Luke Skywalker and R2 with the movie poster, and I know Star Wars Sith Tony was able to open his up. I was debating opening it up and trying to get an image, something for maybe May 4th. I don't know. I'm still a little nervous taking that apart. I might actually watch Tony's video again over at Star Wars Sith to see how easy it was to open that, crack that bad boy open, and get the pop out and put it back in, and how much you can pull that apart and take out. Thanks, dude. No, thank you, because again, I enjoy great toy photography, and it's as Funko photographers, we are a very small niche, so it's really nice to see other people out there sharing that same passion, doing some great work with Funkos. Great image, Rod. Going to follow you right away. Absolutely, absolutely, Christopher. It's Star Wars, seriously, Star Wars. You should check him out. He's got some really great work. Do it now, as Star Wars Sith would say. So easy to put together, so easy screws. Okay. So that's responding to us just coming. So easy to put back together. All right, just screws. There it is. We're gonna be taking that bad boy apart then. Always Photoshop the base. Always do two pictures, one empty and the other with the pop. That's the best way. That is ingenious. So basically, what Fonso Pop was saying, or Gerardo, was he basically photographs two images. So which is awesome idea. I've done this for a few things. So he takes one image, leaves the pop in the frame with on the base, and then he removes it and photographs another image. So he can easily just by applying that layer over top, he could just easily erase that out. That's an awesome idea. Love that little Photoshop trick. Very cool. But again, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for being a part of the Star Wars Funko community, because I really enjoy and get inspired by seeing other people's images as well. So it's a great community. It's our toy photographer community here on Instagram. It's just excellent. It really is. Met a lot of good friends and great photographers through it. So the next one I want to go to is our third photographer and image for the evening is Gojin Chit. Go, how do I say it? Go Chin Pop. Go Chin Pop. Now the Go Chin Pop has again another person photographed from Funko Pops, but this is another great image. I thought this was awesome. I didn't end up getting the particular Funko Pop of the Mandalorian with the Beskar staff, so it was really cool to see. That's kind of what first pulled me in. But to see this scene, this is so excellent. I mean, I love the tiles. You're getting the reflection of the Imperial wall on the floor and everything. Again, this person removes the figures from the base of piers, or maybe doing that other trick that Fonso Pop shared with us that they do. But this is just amazing. I just really love this. A few things that they did. Not only did they do a great job lighting it, so this I'm unsure. I'm gonna say this is probably a combination of a screen and some kind of foreground, possibly. Looking at this, definitely some Photoshop because we got the lens flare, obviously with the shoot with the dark saber and the Beskar staff kind of colliding, and definitely we've got a excellently well done dark saber. I really like that. He's got the, if you can kind of see here, he's got the glow going on here and all the little crackles through the black of the blade. Just really love that. Came out really good. I'm going to tune into the chat here for a second. See, yep, Christopher is saying very, very clever, Gerardo. Yes, yes, Gochi really did nail it. Does some awesome work. Again, I saw this image. And it again. I really love when you can depict a scene, tell a story in one image, and this does it all. I mean, and again, I enjoy the fact that there's more than one Funko Pop. I typically utilize one, no more than two, in my kind of little recipe. Again, I almost feel like I'm kind of doing like a portrait study of the character or whatnot and trying to capture them in a scene. So sometimes adding two is a little tough because what's going to be more dominant, or is it going to be out of focus, in focus? This is great. They're both in focus. They're both fighting, depicting that scene from season two, where Moff Gideon basically lost this fight, and this is where he lost the Darksaber. So excellent, excellent image. And Gochin has quite a bit. This one is one of his more recent ones. And honestly, had I seen this image before I saw the last one, I think this post in the last day or two, this would have made the top five because this was awesome. This is the season two finale of The Mandalorian, depicted in a Funko Pop, and I really, really like this. This here makes me think that they have an actual environment they're shooting, so it looks like a practical kind of diorama or something. It looks like the lighting is even kind of coming from that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like in this image here, the Dark Trooper. No, but again, Gojin Pop. If you haven't liked or followed them, you really need to because they do some excellent, excellent Star Wars Funko Pop images. So let's see. Is any okay? We can go back over here. No one's in the chat. We're gonna go to the next one. We're gonna go to Master Funko P. And this image, this was just fire, in my opinion. So excited to have seen this image. This was just phenomenal. I just thought this was great. I really, really liked what they did with this image. Thought it was just slick, really slick. This is kind of showing, kind of like we saw in the last image, where we kind of saw Paz, kind of at the guess meeting his demise, right? Meeting his maker. This is right before that, and this actually was an image that inspired me. I actually have my own Paz Visa shot, very similar to this. And when I saw this, I was like, you know what? Oh, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Like, I liked how they lit it. It was very moody gels. They've got a little bit of fog or mist in there. It's the red gel to show the heating of the of his gun, his little high-powered heavy infantry blaster, the repeater. So I just thought this is so well done. Very, very clean, very good looking image. There's nothing you could say that would not say this is a solid image. So I was very excited to see this one. Yes, yes, and the last one there, the green highlights that he added to Luke and the Dark Trooper. I agree. I think that kind of helps sell it with the lightsaber. You kind of see it on both of them. That was excellent. That was excellent. But I really, really, and if you haven't seen Master Funko P's, you got to check out their work because again, another Star Wars Funko Pop photographer, and they do phenomenal work. They have a very good portfolio. Again, this is kind of like Vader, as we've seen him. Looks like he's on Mustafar or whatnot, but he's got some great images in here. And that's one thing I do enjoy about seeing a lot of these other toy photographers out there on Instagram. We get to see each other's work and kind of go out and look and view and share ideas and bounce ideas, get inspired. So it's really nice. Great work, Master Funko P. Great work. Now I know you don't just specialize in Star Wars, but your work's phenomenal too. Another great photographer. Really enjoy watching what they crank out every week. I'm curious to you guys. Um, if any of you guys are in the chat, how often are you guys photographing? Kind of curious. And if you're photographing and posting and doing content creation, are you doing once a week, multiple week? I'll be honest. I kind of slimmed back. I was doing for almost a year every other day, cranking out an image over this first year, and I'll be honest, that creates a lot of burnout. Being married, a father of two kids and Freemason and a full time job in IT. There's a lot of things going on in life, so it was getting to almost burn me out. But the reason I actually got into shooting the Star Wars Funko Pops is because during the pandemic, I saw a lot of toy photographers doing a lot of really neat things, and kind of got inspired by that because I wanted to have that creative side, where it's not just a job. I'm not just photographing things that I have to shoot. These are things that I want to shoot. So for me, I did it as a creative outlet, just to kind of. I have this collection. Again, they always say, what is the one thing to have a niche or something that you're good at? So it's one that it's accessible, right? Especially with photography. One thing that I always thought was studies, like whether it's a locational study, a room study, a subject study, but you study something for a length of time. And it could be a park that you drive by every day. You go through it early morning, but early morning on a rainy day, early morning on a foggy day, early morning on a winter day, early morning and a spring day. That's going to change dramatically, and depending on how the weather is, right? You're going to get a different image. So again, photographing the same type of thing over and over, you start to kind of really kind of master it and learn it, and you can really do a study of it. So it's really interesting seeing what everybody has here. It's really complicated to do a lot of Funkos on one shot. There are portions of the head. It's always very complicated, and the pick always has to be on landscape to work. Yeah, I agree. It's hard. I have a few that I've shot vertically, but it's very few, very few. Um, every once in a while, I feel it just has to go vertical, so I understand that. But yeah, that is a difference in the Funko Pop because the heads are kind of exaggerated purposely. They do kind of throw things off a little bit when you're trying to do a whole scene and many in a shot. That is very true. Very, very true. Not enough hours in a day. No, sir, there isn't. If I could get myself a back to tank or cloning tank, I'd clone myself for sure. For sure. Not to necessarily rule the galaxy, maybe to rule monetization on YouTube. I don't know. Just kidding. Yeah, who knows? But it would be nice to have a clone because I can definitely use an extra hand some days. Dorado, Star Wars during the week, like 3 or 4 times. Sunday random. Sunday is random Sunday. Oh, that's cool. So Funso Pop, basically, Gerardo, when he's doing his, he says Star Wars. He shoots 3 or 4 times during the week, and then Sunday is usually his random Sunday where he shoots something random. That's kind of cool. That's the way to kind of keep it fresh. I'm doing that study with my own patio garden. Most of my outside photos are from it. Yeah, see, excellent. I know I have gone out and I photographed on my garage roof because when I come out through my backyard, the garage roof is kind of here, like it's almost at eye level from where I am. So I could post things on the roof, get that sky in there. And if I move it to a different angle when it snows and stuff, I have some cypress trees or whatnot that get some evergreens and stuff that get like snow on them and stuff so they can use as a backdrop. So yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking. I even had a piece of wood that I used that and used when it wasn't snowy out, used those same trees and shot my wicket there and kind of gave it a little depth. Had a big chopped piece of it was a log basically, and it had wicket right next to that. So it had this big, thick tree trunk look to it. Had wicket there. Shot it at 2 in the afternoon. This is great. So shooting it at 2 in the afternoon, I had a very great exposure. It was lit up like a Christmas tree, but I actually drag down the exposure to make it look like it was Wicket looking at night. The original idea, I was going to try to do it in a way that I could have it so he was looking out into the nub nub yub yub and the fireworks when we win at the end of Return of the Jedi. But that was a little too wonky and too much going on, and I want to keep the simplicity of the image, so I just stuck with that. Very cool though. I really like that, Gerardo, that you're sharing that. That was really, really cool. All right. So as you can see, these photographers that I'm choosing here tonight they're all phenomenal, and the work they have is just great. It's top drawer. It really is top drawer. And the last one on my list tonight, the fifth and final, is Dark Side Galleries. And you can see Dark Side Galleries got some phenomenal work in here. But for instance, here's one Moff getting into Dark Saber. Beautiful, beautiful image. But this is not the image I chose. This is not the image I chose. I chose this image here, and you probably, and I think all these images you see in the thumbnail for this live stream, but I chose this Darth Maul image from Phantom Menace. I just thought, hands down, this was just legit. This is just a great, great image. I really just thought the lighting was great. It really carves that figure out without having too much lighting. So obviously, it looks like we have a. This could be a digital background with a semi practical set as well. Let's get a little sip of Gatorade here. But when I look at this Star Wars image here of this Funko Pop, Darth Maul is just amazing. And I photographed it. So I know trying to photograph it and not get a highlight that really messes up or something like that, part of his face, when you're doing that, especially when you're putting like your red for your lightsabers. But I just thought this is so good. The motivational lighting in this that was done to kind of match the image that you're shooting it with. This was just top drawer. Obviously, you've got a lightsaber effect there. It looks great. But I really enjoy the folds that we get in his cloak. And what's really cool about that, he's using kind of more like a hair light from behind coming back, and it's kind of coming right across here and getting all that detail. And it actually picks up that same light. As you can see, it picks up some detail in here too. And then he's got his red from his lightsaber. He's got probably another little light with a gel I could see, kind of accentuating that a little bit more. And then he's got another light here that you can see kind of coming into those eyes. So again, this is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. I love how they did this image. So let's go into the chat. It looks like we have a few comments there. And sorry, sometimes I seem to kind of get lost because I'm lost looking for my cursor, my mouse, as I'm kind of going to the trackpad. It's either on this screen or this screen. I'm trying to find it. But seriously, Star Wars says that Darth Maul image is epic. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm surprised Star Wars Sith isn't like, let's go. That image is solid, solid. Like this image to me, I wish I photographed this. It's that good. It's so good. And every image here, I wish I could have shot that. They were all very great images. They were creative. They had great angles. They told story. They hit all the marks for me. They really did. Super shot, the yellow in his face, right? That yellow light bouncing back in and this greenish yellow light. Like it's just so well done. And what I like is I typically use like a 4 or 5 light setup. I don't know, 5 or 4 light setup with my Loom cubes. Typically, that's kind of my typical recipe that I've seen that I've been shooting for a little over a year. What I'll do is light my subject up. I might use a backdrop. I might use practical. On a few of them too, I'll go out into the wild, if you will. I'll go out into the landscape. Like I think we did about a month ago. We did the Mandalorian on the speeder bike. And we brought that to a beach. Had the dead cat on the mic. It was crazy windy. And my daughter was going to come with me that day, but she opted out. She decided she was going to ditch me. So I was there alone. It was a little bit hectic to try to get all that stuff together. So I'm sitting there with the reflector, trying to record, trying to take an image. And sometimes it's a little much. So honestly, I think as a content creator and photographer, a piece of advice I'd give you, do not get caught up in trying to get all the stuff for your content for later, for your video. Concentrate on your image. Because at one point I just said, you know what? I can't worry about my daughter not showing up, right? You just gotta, it's proactive or reactive. So proactive was trying to have someone there. Reactive was reacting when they decided they bailed. But I got to the point where I needed to not worry about the bells and whistles. Was it doing this? Was it doing that? I'll let some post editing or whatever fix that. Like I think what I did is I used an app that had captions, because even with the dead cat on the mic, it's really bad. So going out on location and just shooting, again, as Gerardo was saying, he will do a study of something. He's doing a study of his porch. If you go by something over and over and you're looking at something, do that as often as you can. I mean, that's one of the reasons I chose my Star Wars Funko Pop, because It's something I'm familiar with. I collect them. I love them. I love Star Wars. I love telling stories. And I got inspired after seeing the whole idea of the volume on the Star Wars galleries on Disney Plus. And that's kind of what inspired me to start using my computer monitor. And as that, originally I was like, oh, maybe I need to have an Unreal Engine. And I was going nuts when I first saw that. So then I saw this idea and started taking off on this. And now I've kind of, as you might have seen in some other videos, where I'll do some 3D renderings. So I'll actually play with some 3D models now and use those as my backdrops to throw my pops in, as well as practical or on location and things like that. But, again, these photographers that we were looking at today, everyone is just stand up, really good at their craft. I mean, look at these images. They're just phenomenal. I mean, it's not even Star Wars, and that's just awesome. Indiana Jones, something like that. These are just so cool. I just really, really love what these people are doing. And again, when you see images like this done, and it's Star Wars Funko Pop, to me that just again validates how awesome that they're really taking this photography up a notch, because it's not like a Black Series figure or other action figures. You can pose them up, do some really cool stuff with. Your pose is kind of where you're at. And I just am so impressed to see what everyone comes up with. It's always a pleasure. Let's see what we got here. We got some more chat going on here. See. And the hour. The light is key on these shots. 9 a.m., 5 p.m. are perfect times. Yes. Rado makes a great point. One of the things that I would suggest, and why he's saying that, he's looking for that magic hour, right? It's called us photographers typically call that the magic hour. So the magic hour, why do they call it that? Why is it called the magic hour? It's the light temperature. It's not just the lighting, it's also the temperature. So something that we know is that typically in the beginning and the end of the day, we have some cool, because the sun is out and it's getting warmer and things are getting cooler. But that temperature fluctuates. So typically, like when you used to shoot film, you would have to compensate for this. And I don't know if a lot of people now, especially the younger generation, knows, because they all shoot digital, but we would be shooting tungsten film during these times a day, because it's balanced for a cooler temperature, so there's kind of a bluish cast to that. And what because it's cooler during the magic hours, so you get some of the really that when you get a sunset, you get the really oranges and the purples and stuff like that, and you can really warm it up because the light's really warming, but the temperature overall is getting cooler. A great example, if you're thinking like noon, 1 o'clock, your high noon time, the sun's over your head. It's very, very bright. It's very warm, very hot. That's the hottest part of your day. So your lighting is not very flattering then either. A lot of times, like I will use that particular time of day. I like shooting end of day, like 5 p.m. is my favorite time. And maybe that's because I'm just not a morning person. But if I'm on vacation, forget about it. Vacation is when I become the morning person, because I want to take advantage of every waking moment on my vacation, because I'm waking up to do something fun that I'm passionate about, that I'm excited about. So a lot of times I get up to go do things like when I went to Disney. My family had our plans, what day, what park, the boo, and I said, screw it, I am going to Batu. I'm going to Galaxy's Edge, and I'm going to get a picture in front of the Millennium Falcon with anybody in it. And I did. I successfully did that. People ask, how did you do that? Because I got my ass up early, walked quick as I can. For the fact I almost got shin splints, I walked so damn fast. And then I got there, just so you know, if anyone else tries this, when you get there, make it so that you could get there first, and then there's someone just following behind you, because I got there and then there's nobody there to hold my camera to take a picture with my phone of me. So I could do selfies all day long, but I couldn't actually get a nice picture. So the first person that came walking up, they got greeted with my handshake and a camera. Here's my phone. Can you get a picture of me real quick? But that's how you kind of get those images. Impresses images from everyone. Yes, thank you, Christopher. I agree. Over at Seriously Star Wars, the images we saw tonight, they were all phenomenal. I really just enjoyed being able to see all the different photographers, their bodies of work, because it's a great community to have. Um, I really enjoy that, because I would say a lot of people don't realize there's so many toy photographers out there, but you've got your genres, right? You have, people that just shoot just everything. There are people that just action figure collectors, like my buddy over at Maz's Toy Box. If you haven't seen his toy photography, you got to check him out. He blows me away. The image that still to this day rocks me to my core. He shot one of Ripley with the space helmet. So simple. So his lighting setup is so simple, but it looks so goddamn realistic. Like I had to do a double take. It was that good. So in toy photography, we're seeing this really great upper echelon of photographers coming out of the woodwork. And someone who worked commercially for Mr. Potato Head and did some contract work and photograph stuff. It's really cool to see it expanding out, because there was a photographer that I met through Hasbro. He's passed now, but he was shooting the GI Joe, and not the 3 1/4, but the original kind of 12-inch style. And he did an actual book, and that book was basically my inspiration years ago, doing still life, to even look to shoot toys and to come to Rhode Island, be able to work at with Mr. Potato Head and them. But that, I'll tell you, that book was a sure inspiration of what toy photography could be, um, because no one was doing it like that originally. The posing and um, the atmosphere and the sets. They're like mini sets he was building, especially like the one I really recall was the Frogman, the GI Joe Frogman 12-inch doll, like posed up like he was coming out of the water. It was just freaking awesome. And that really kind of changed my mind of what toy photography could be. And people like Sir Dork, my friend Jared over there at Sir Dork, another great photographer, killing it on all fronts. I mean, he usually does. I think his big specialty, fireworks. He is great at practical effects with the fireworks and stuff like that. He's phenomenal at. He does a lot of fun stuff with stop motion, where he captures, like, the Mountain Dew being slashed by a Power Ranger or something like that. He does some phenomenal work. So again, if you haven't seen his stuff, check him out. Put it this way, my highlighted in one of my future videos in the top 5, because he's definitely one of my top 5 favorite toy photographers. He captures a lot of Black Series work and stuff like that. So nice, Mr. Potato Head. Impressive, man. Yeah, it was a great experience. I didn't get I had a very short contract. It was very cool. I really learned a lot. Would love to go back, but I can't work under contract. I've got a wife and the family, and getting not a full time position, but full time contract work is great when you're single. But when you're married and you're a family guy, it's unfortunately I can't do it. I can't. I would love to go back. The people I worked with are great. The studio was great. It's a dream job. Like, honest, when I made it to that point, I felt that I finally made it to my calling. I was around my peers, my peeps, and it was a culmination of a lot of things. So, to give a little background about myself, and many people probably don't know, I do commercial photography. I'm currently working with some IT at this last 10 years, but I do commercial photography, and I started as an assistant to Chip Ferrelli, who passed away last year. He is probably my biggest mentor next to Nancy Ori. So when I first moved back from Tucson, Arizona, after going to college, I moved back, and I got a job like at a kid's studio, and everything that you do in photography is a buildup for that next experience. So I had a very well-rounded work experience, so that I knew everything I wanted to do. So actually kind of started by being an assistant to Chip Ferrelli, working in Manhattan. Nancy Ori, um, another great instructor and teacher. Um, One of my favorite people in the world. She actually was a student of Ansel Adams. So it was kind of nice to, I had gone to U of A and studied under the Ansel Adams School, kind of basically a photography there, the CCP and all. So it was just kind of like kindred spirit. And through her, I met Chip Ferrelli. And we had a gallery show together, and it kind of led to a lot of things. So it led me to working with um, what am I thinking? Oh, the ASMP, the Association of Media Photography in New Jersey chapter. And from there, I was actually able to work with different photographers and stuff like that. And it got me into Nabisco and craft. So I worked there for a number of years as a first assistant and second shooter. So doing everything from packaging to just moving the lights around. Um, to doing a lot of the stuff that I got to shoot was things where we would compare our products to other products. So I was photographing our competing products as well, and for packaging purposes, things like that, all sorts of stuff. So I kind of went from being an assistant, working at B&H Photo, yes, to my B&H peeps out there, all my good friends out there, David Brahmer, who runs Event Space, Rich Spees, good buddy, my buddy Joey Quintero, who worked there, Oscar. There's so many of you guys. So I miss you guys. My B&H crew is like, that was like my other familia, my other family, man. And I'm telling you, if you want to have a radizio, you hang out with the guys at B&H, because the guys that work the Brasilia department are just ridiculous with meat, man. They just barbecue meat all day and are experts at it. But I had such a great time, met some great people. And that was really almost like a second education being there. So again, preparing me for what I wanted to do commercially. I was assisting everywhere, right? So I was assistant in New York, assistant in New Jersey. I not only was working for Kraft and Bisco on the weekends, I was working at a couple different wedding studios. Again, doing a couple things. One is to learn everything about all the different genres, how to be prepared, what kind of things I liked, didn't like, and then I went into other stuff. Um, and kind of figured it all out, and eventually kind of got to the point where photographing models and fashion was neat, but it wasn't really fulfilling me, right? For me, I didn't like having to pay for hairstylists, makeup stylists, um, clothing stylists, the model, all these things coming into your studio on your dime, and you get front to back. You got to front that and get paid back. And then people showing up late, or they had another casting they went to. I mean, this is New York City, right? Some of these models will have 4 or 5 castings in a day, and some might go over, and their agency might say, you're skipping this one. This is more important. And I get you. Ford Modeling Agency isn't playing around. They've got some great talent, so they're going to farm it to where they need it. But when you're working with these agencies and models and stuff like that, starts to become a pain. So what I realized after working with my buddy Chip is still life. If I put something down, a diamond ring, Mikimoto pearls, whatever we're shooting, you shoot it, you leave it there. You can go away and come back. It doesn't move. It's not late. It's not going to disappoint. Not going to complain. So there's those things like that. I was like, wow, as a photographer, there's something about this. I really liked it. And also I like the challenge. Just like we saw tonight with toy photography. I like the challenge of being able to make something like my friend over at with the Star Wars Broom Building. It was make something out of nothing. The Smuggler's Room. Let's make something out of nothing. I always like taking something and making something out of it. It could be a few random items that you're stitching together, put together an image and stuff like that. So it's always really nice to do things like that. But again, focusing on trying to get to where you want to be, know the things that you want to do, and kind of hit a little bit. And like I said, I have a career in photography for many years. I got into it when I was younger, and kind of picked it up through college. I actually changed my major from being a nursing major to going in art. And trust me, my parents did not enjoy finding out that news. But it was for my soul, because it was actually what I was good at, it was passionate about, and what I really like to do. So, as I even tell my kids, if you find something you're really good at, stick at it, be good at it, master it, because you can be the best at it. And if you're the best at it, you'll get paid very well for it. So I just, again, don't want to keep going on my tangent. I just want to come out here tonight just to highlight some photographers. Again, if you haven't seen, we're going to run through these guys one more time, because I really just want to thank every one of them for just, I don't even think they knew, except for me contacting them, that I was going to be doing this tonight. and selecting their work or highlighting or doing anything. But let's bring these back. So again, we have Dark Side Galleries, another phenomenal photographer. We have Master Funko P. We have Gochin Pop, Funko 2005, and last but not least, Fonso Pop that's been on this Gerardo that's been on with us all night. So thank you very much. Again, I had a great time tonight. I hope I didn't bore you guys with too much of my spinning web and telling tales, but it was great to be out here with you guys tonight. Again, I'm usually not by myself doing a live stream. I've always got co-hosts and whatnot. So it was a lot of fun to be with you all. I hope you enjoyed this stream. In the future, we're going to have more. As I said earlier, we're going to be doing more toy photography top fives. We might be doing Black Series, Lego. I think I want to get into Lego next to like my top favorite 5 Lego photography images of recent. And we could do more Funko Pops because I know we're all going to keep making them. There's going to be a lot more images out there. So I'm very excited to see what we get next here. Oh, we got some other images. I'm an architect, and at the beginning, before doing renders, I did building photography for a short time. It was amazing. Buildings do not complain. Exactly. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Started for. Yeah, what? Also changed. Started for medicine, changed to architect. That's awesome. That's awesome, Ryan. Yeah, you never know where life's gonna, kind of blow you. I always think of that the song by The Wind by Cat Stevens. I feel that very much. Life blows you. The wind blows you into different directions in life, and you could sit and recognize those experiences, or you could live them and forget about them. And kind of not realize the moment you're in. But a phrase that I say often is "be in the moment," and what I always meant by um, "be in the moment" is to be present. Be present. Be be observant of your surroundings. Because you could be doing something and it just sucks. One experience quickly just mentioned. I had one of my favorite photographers idols. Love this guy, love their work. So excited I got to assist him, and after assisting him for a week, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to come back. I just didn't want to work with that person ever again, and it just took where I had someone kind of on a pedestal in my head, like, oh, this photographer is like the best, and they have this gig, this gig, this gig. And when I got to work with them, I was so excited, and I was just not impressed with love their work, not probably don't really enjoy the person. Love the work, don't enjoy the person. And then, as any photographer in Manhattan will tell you, they're all working with their assistants. It's their assistants that really kind of help bring it all together. Let's face it. I can't even tell you how many times I've done everything, and a photographer comes up and click and goes back talking to the client. But that's what you do. That's you got to put in your time. I had a friend that didn't want me working for Anne Leibovitz. Was telling me, oh, because again, that was when he's like, that story about you just told me, like I just told you someone ago. He's like, I have the same thing, and you don't want to work with that person. I was like, well, get out of here. Love Anne Leibovitz. She always does the Vanity Fair Star Wars. So for me, I kept telling him, I don't care. I'll assist just long enough to be the Vanity Fair for the next Star Wars movie. But it's just kind of funny. Thank you, Christopher at Seriously Star Wars, for enjoying the stream. We are going to be wrapping up here. Sorry, I keep chatting it up. Gerardo, it was awesome, man. Really entertaining. And thanks again. Thank you. Thank you guys all for being here. I know I didn't have that many people in the live chat. I appreciate those that did show up tonight. Again, I feel like crap. I am I'm really not doing that well. So thank you for sticking with me. I hope I didn't sound too congested and crappy. Because honestly, I was napping before I even got on the stream. So I'm going to be taking pumping some meds in myself and passing out shortly after this. So again, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. If you like more of this kind of content, again, please stay tuned to Toy Photographer, because we're going to be expanding. We've expanded our content a little bit here, a little bit there, doing other stuff. So please come back. I enjoy having you guys here, and definitely enjoy be able to talk photo, talk Star Wars, anything of that nature, talk Funko. So, Christopher probably gets bored that I talk his ear off all the time about Star Wars Funko, but that's what we love. That's what we're passionate about. So again, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Don't miss another episode. And thank you very much. Enjoyed this live stream with you all tonight. And thank you for the 5 photographers that just, I couldn't have had my stream without what you guys did. And I just love having this community of toy photographers and Star Wars Funko. So again, thank you for doing what you do, because you do great work. You definitely inspire. You inspire me. You inspire others. So again, thank you very much. Had a great time, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Until then, may the force be with you.